We are here one day later than we expected to be because NASCAR had the only rain cell in the entire country over Daytona International Speedway for 2 days. We're back. We first time seeing y'all in 2 weeks. So happy to be here. Post Daytona 500. This was planned to be yesterday, but of course the Daytona 500 and the Xfinity race happened yesterday, so that kind of put wrench in our plans. But we are here. We've got myself, Matt, Sal, and Tegan, kind of the bog standard crew in here today, the core four, some might say. How are we all doing? Everybody good?
Doing good.
Sally's got a heck of a shirt on. Tegan's got a pretty accurate shirt to himself on.
Just for the pod, by the way.
And Tegan, we kind of had to play a little bit of the heel role in our friend group over the last 24 hours with this whole
Discord group chats.
Yeah.
I was playing it in 2 group chats, by the way, with some league members. So
yeah. So William Byron picks up the win at the Daytona 500. I believe the first time he actually ever finished on the lead lap at the Daytona 500, and he wins it. Seemed like a matter of time for him. He's a pretty good drafting track racer, I guess we call it now. Got his first win at Daytona, and Hendrick 40th anniversary to the day. That kind of seemed pretty storybook to me. And when I heard that, I was pretty sure a Hendrick car was going to win. I don't know why, but it always seems like it works out like that. I was hoping it would be somebody else. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Some people think it was somebody else. It wasn't. But let's go through it. Sally, talk to me. What do you think about the race and William Byron picking up that big win?
Big for Byron. I feel like last year we really saw a glimpse of what he can be. And for him to come up first race of the season and basically just start off or pick up where you finished off last season, it's a good sign of things to come for that team. The race in general, I feel like, was one of the best races, pack races in the next gen era. I was entertained from start to finish, and William Byron definitely won.
Yeah, he did definitely win. I know the fuel saving aspect is not popular with the drivers, which it's their fault why it happens, which is besides the point. But I thought it kind of brought in a really captivating stage one with the different times for pitting of manufacturers, the different groups, seeing where things would shake out, seeing how slow they were going, seeing a solo AJ Allmendinger running 5 miles an hour a lap faster than the pack. I found that stage one to be interesting. In all seriousness, I think this Daytona 500 was one of the best we've had in recent years. Probably the best since 2020, I think. Maybe even better than 2020. That the ending kind of gave everybody a bad vibe after. Definitely one of the better ones since 2016, which I think everybody remembers pretty fondly. But this package is just tough for me. I enjoy the races, don't get me wrong, but it is kind of frustrating to watch after you watch the Xfinity race later in the night and you see Austin Hill go from back to front about 8 different times. You see guys make aggressive moves to get the lead. You can't really make that many moves in this.
You have to be in the right line and be lucky, like Kyle Busch was all day.
Exactly. And that takes a skill, I guess, to know where it's going to be good at. But to me, I think it's really just like slot car racing a lot of the time. And I know Chase Elliott, like I watched Chase Elliott mostly in the races, but for about 90% of that race, it felt like he was inside third car, but I was just watching him. So that's why that's the example. But like it's just tough sometimes with the gridlock. It seems like we get, and the only time we get 3 wide is because guys are going 60% throttle, and Joey Logano's like, well, fuck it, I'm going high and taking everybody with me. Tegan, your thoughts on the race?
It was a good race. I enjoyed it. Maybe a little bit has to do with knowing that you don't have a race or a horse in the race.
Yeah,
because Kevin Harvick's in the broadcast booth now, so I just felt like whoever wins, I really don't give a shit. I've got drivers I don't want to win it, but I really do not care. So I think the race was good. Even to me, the fuel mileage part of it was pretty cool because that is 110% giving. Starting with the crew chief, if the drivers don't fucking like it, they're the ones behind the wheel. They don't have to fucking do it. Fucking go. Fucking make everybody else race. All it would have took was 1 or 2 drivers to break out from that pack, and it would never have stayed that long on fuel saving. And a lot of good it fucking did anyway, because it still broke up the pit strategy on people in groups and stuff. Nobody made it to the finish, saving gas. They all had to pit either way. So I just think drivers are they're never satisfied. They're almost, later on, I'm going to bitch about something else, but I'm telling you, the drivers ain't much better. They're in the same group with these people. They're never satisfied. I mean, and they're the ones behind the wheel controlling it. I mean, if you don't fucking like it, why are you bitching about it? Why are you asking NASCAR? I mean, they're not coming out directly and asking NASCAR to do something about it, but that's basically what they're doing when they're fucking bitching.
Right.
They want NASCAR to step in and say, "Oh yeah, you can't do this now because y'all don't like it. If you don't fucking like it, don't fucking do it." All it would have took was, like I said, was 1 or 2 drivers not doing it, and it would have been a different ball game. And we still had a good race at the end. You got to save your shit to be there at the end. And that's another thing that gets me about the drivers bitching about it. At least when you're saving gas, at least you're saving your fucking car to the end. Instead of fucking wadding them up, before halfway through the race. And then you're bitching about that because everybody was too aggressive. So what the fuck do you want? I mean, you can't satisfy them. You hang them with a brand new fucking rope and they fucking bitch about something. So I don't get it. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. And you got Denny Hamlin that's got his own fucking pod. He's fucking not liking it. You got Bubba Wallace who's on fucking Twitter not liking it and, thinks he's got something to bitch about. It's fucking stupid. Get out there and race your fucking cars and shut your damn yapper. So that's just my opinion on it right now. Unless something happens where it needs to be changed by NASCAR, it's in your controls. Fucking do it yourself. Yeah. But the racing was fucking awesome when they actually did get up there and race. I mean, they were 3 wide for the longest fucking time with no issues. So
I'm not happy he's going at Denny. It is now time for the return of one of my favorite segments on this lovely program. I don't remember which music this is. I have to figure that out. But it is time for an incredible, hold on, TNT Talladega is a very accurate description of what we saw there.
I'm telling you, NASCAR watches our league races, and they're like, hey, let's do that.
It is kind of turning into our league
They
races.
put 2 sheeps in the front like we do with our sheep. And they just rode. And you had Quentin back there in the back catching us, just from the opposite side.
Granted, it was like 4 years after, but still pretty good.
All right, it is time. Here we go. Is this the song? Yeah, that's the song. All right, here we go, Maddie. Hit me. Your 2 dudes from Daytona.
All right, so dude number 1. William Byron. He was in the right place at the right time. Pretty cool that he did it. 40 years to the day for Hendrick Motorsports. And then my second dude is going to be Corey LaJoie. He was able to get a top 5. He's one of the better drafting drivers, but he doesn't really get too many top 5s, top 10s. So it's always good to see him there. And he's in a decent spot in the points, albeit it's after 1 race, but got to take whatever you can get coming from a small team like that. So William Byron and Corey LaJoie will be my 2 dudes.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maddie. I can agree with that. I don't like Corey LaJoie, but, he did a good job. Tell me your thoughts on the race, Maddie.
Overall, I thought it was a good race. it was interesting for sure to see the whole fuel thing go down stage one because you didn't really because you got kind of like split up there. Like I know Blaney pitted I think he pitted with like Christopher Bell.
He
And
only
that
pitted with like 2
little-
or 3 people.
Yeah, and
That's
that
because his
little crew
teammates
there.
wanted to be nice, or his
Yeah.
Ford teammates. It wasn't his actual teammates, but
Yeah,
I
his
know it
whole
was actually.
that was
Then
a
they
whole
left
little,
them hanging. So
yeah, that was a whole little ordeal there. That was interesting to see. And then the end, it always stinks when you get a caution that flies out while the white's out, just because you want to see him race it back to the line. So that kind of stinks. But shout out to Willie B. He was in the right spot at the right time. Pretty cool seeing the Hendrick Motorsports 1-2 finish with him and Bowman.
Yep.
Overall, really good race. I did think it was really fun. It was crazy to me a little bit, and something that goes that's been, I want to say, a thing since they've switched to this car. It's just like how when you're in a line, you're stuck. Like you can't really move without hitting somebody. And like once you try to bump them, I would say in this, it almost seems like 80 to 85% of the time that person's going spinning. It's really weird.
especially named Brad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he should be
Seems like a
banned
common
from pushing.
denominator and things, right?
Yeah. It was crazy watching Kyle Busch. I feel like he was the only driver that was able to make moves and get them to stick.
Yeah.
Much like Austin Hill did in the Xfinity series. It's kind of weird. That man went, like you said earlier, he went back from the back to the front, to the back to the front, and then he went to the back with 18 laps left. And within 2 different cautions, he was up to 12th and ended up winning the race. So
The guy was so fucking locked in. He flew into pit road at 85 miles an hour under caution and just went into his pit box, overshot,
And then slid through it.
Like that dude was dialed in. I mean, it was insane.
Dude had tunnel vision.
It seems like he's always gonna find a way at those tracks. Tegan, you got boneheads?
Yes.
Okay, we're back. Is this the song? Yeah, this is the song. Here we go, Tegan. Hit us with your boneheads.
All right. So my bonehead, most people are going to think that I'm calling Alex Bowman fans out. It's not Alex Bowman fan. It's just fans in general. The NASCAR fan base are the boneheads for tonight because, back in the day, we used to accuse NASCAR of letting teams cheat and get away with it. Now we got to a point where we're just accusing NASCAR of just fixing races, and I just don't think that that's going to happen. Although I'm pretty sure when I was younger and stupid, I said shit like that. But the amount of Twitter hate, and I need to quit doing it. I need to quit going to Twitter after these races that do shit like this because it pisses me off. All you see is NASCAR robbed this guy. They robbed him. And I just honestly feel if you would have swapped them out, Bowman had the lead and won the race a little bit over Byron, it would have been the same damn thing. We are never satisfied as a fan base either. And people have keyboards or their little these right here so they can just do this right here without being seen and having their damn I's dotted. They use that shit to say shit that and don't have no business saying it. I mean, I became a bad guy last night, and then I was doing it on purpose. I didn't give a shit anymore. I was done. So, it's not even a Bowman thing or a Byron thing. It's just we as a sport, we're not happy unless we're bitching to NASCAR. Even the people that really became who they are on Twitter because of NASCAR, like these little people that started down here and now are up here because they've got the recognition of covering the sport as amateurs, are now shitting on NASCAR. And I think you need to quit biting the hand that fucking feeds you. So you need to take a step back and quit running your cocksucker and just fucking enjoy the sport. And maybe it's just me. I don't have a driver in this race anymore that I'm out here fucking rooting for. I low key root for Noah Gragson, or that's about it. I mean, I really don't care anymore. So there may be some more pretty good boneheads this year, but for this tonight, it is definitely the NASCAR fan base, and that may include me. So I don't give a shit.
Yeah, unbiased boneheads is a good thing, I think, because now it's not going to be Rodney or anybody that crosses Kevin Harvick. Kind of a more objective look at things now. But yeah, I think it was kind of irrational. Fox, while they didn't do a great job of maybe showing us that, because they had to get off air pretty quickly.
I think they were rushed into showing whatever they had at the moment.
Yeah.
I did find out that picture though, the aerial 30 picture
was Fox's.
Actually is their aerial picture that NASCAR used. So
yeah. The thing is people like think that we still use scoring loops or it's when the light comes on. Those are both not correct.
Not for the last lap.
The moment of caution when the button is hit. And it is very clear on Alex Bowman's in-car camera that that the green light goes out, it goes dark, black it becomes.
That's the button.
And then that's the button being hit because it doesn't magically go green, yellow. There's a little delay time in between it.
It changes.
And it goes dark. And Alex Bowman is clearly, in my opinion, still behind William Byron when that happened.
By very little, but he's still behind.
It's very close, yes. But it's to me, it's clear though.
Like a split second, a delay on them hitting that button, Byron or Bowman would be the winner. So I mean, it's that close.
If they hit the button 2 seconds later, I think Alex Bowman is Daytona 500 champion, and it's the same thing that happened to my guy 3 years ago. You know, because you look at the 2021 finish, and you can make an argument in your mind that Chase,
2011 Talladega with him and Clint. So
10, yeah. So you know,
a little delay. Hit the button. Someone goes whew whew, and
that whew whew is what freezes the field, right, man?
Yeah,
that's what locks it in.
Yeah, you gotta hit that. You gotta hit that button. Someone goes whew whew.
David Hughes is just up there, the wee woo guy.
Yeah,
wee woo. It's our guy SVG up there, race control.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk a little bit of Xfinity. Austin Hill wins. A lot of people don't. A lot of people on Twitter are shitting on that race because they didn't like the guy that won. I thought
good race though.
It was
and people are
they
saying
spent a lot of that time fucking like doing some outrageous fucking moves on each other and getting away with it.
Yeah,
and that's pretty good for Xfinity really level.
Yeah,
the cars prove again that they race better than Cup. No matter
in every category, maybe except mile and a halves. You can make an argument for Cup in that aspect. Even though Xfinity mile and a halves are good, the Cup is performing, I think, the best they've ever had on those kind of tracks.
Yeah, but I mean, like we've said, went over before, they gained on mile and a half just to take 50 steps backwards on everything else. So really, to me, it's not a net gain.
Right, and a lot of people didn't like how the endings went, you know, and I think NASCAR probably should have called a caution at the end of that Xfinity race.
Yeah, I feel like Sheldon Creed thought they were going to call a caution because he was.
It looked like he lifted.
Yeah, he was way behind.
But you know what though? That is not on Sheldon Creed. Sheldon Creed don't lift unless he's got his spotter or his crew chief telling him the yellow's out, or he sees the yellow light, and he obviously didn't see the yellow light. So somebody must have been on that radio saying,
"Yeah, they're wrecking behind you." Yeah, like they're wrecking behind you. They're going to come out with the yellow.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good race, though. If I'm going to give a Maddie's two dudes from that race, give it to Austin Hill and Riley Herbst.
Riley was fucking not taking no shit last night.
Yeah,
I think there's only 3 or 4 Fords that are really good at plate racing, and that's all they have. They literally have to do what they have to do to stay up there. And him and Cole Custer were fucking cooking.
It's really cool to watch a driver come into his own, like right before your eyes. And I think we've seen that over the last,
year.
Couple months of the season last year with Riley Herbst and today already, or yesterday, excuse me. I really think that he's going to be one to watch throughout the season.
The dude took his ass to the NASCAR hauler and wanted a explanation on why he was penalized when he was getting pushed on the restart and couldn't lift. So he didn't go on Twitter and basically low key threw shade while agreeing to move on. So you gotta like it. You gotta love it.
Because I think if that penalty doesn't happen, I think he still might win.
I think he's in control of that race.
Yeah, and I don't think he might let Hill make the move that a lot of other guys did, like Jordan.
I think
Anderson.
that would have changed the race completely, actually, because I think that would have kept Cole Custer up there out of the wreck as well.
Right,
along with Ron Sieg.
It's a great point.
It was a big. You're good.
Go ahead, Maddie.
I was gonna say it was a big weekend for AJ.
Yeah,
running double duty. That was impressive to finish top 10 in not only the Daytona 500, and then I think he finished 6th in the Xfinity race. For
Fifth,
someone,
maybe. I think Raleigh had 6th.
for someone who's known as a road course driver, and that's really it. It's pretty neat seeing someone.
I think he's pretty low key, a plate racer too.
I think he's actually like pretty.
Look
good
what he's
at
done
it.
in the Xfinity series. That like
Yeah.
he literally
He's good at
modeled
it.
it after colleague there for the longest
Yeah.
time. You could.
I just feel like as a fan base, many people who watch
People don't
NASCAR
realize
just
it.
claim
They
him
don't.
as
They
a road
overwatch
course
it or
person.
oversee
Yeah,
it.
but like you said, he's been good at super speedways for a while. It's just that everybody thinks of him
Till
when
Austin
you hear-
Hill come in.
when you hear his name. Yeah, Austin Hill is at a completely different level. They might as well start this man like 3 or 4 laps down to spot everybody. But then you got backmarker people who are just going to give them more wee woos, and they'll be on the lead lap in a second. So,
It's unbelievable because a lot of people say, these races at Daytona, Talladega, and now Atlanta are luck. Whoever wins is lucky. To me, when you win 3 of these in a row and you win other ones at Atlanta along the way, that's not luck anymore.
Okay, so I will say this. Since the cars have changed, I think Xfinity has come down to a little bit more skill.
Yeah.
I still think Cup is a
Luck.
majority of luck because all it would have took was Ross Chastain going for that hole instead of hitting Cindric. He could have hit the 24 and it would have been a completely different winner. So it's luck on Cup side because these cars get such killer runs and you can't go nowhere with it. Xfinity, these cars are so good. It's luck. It's skill now in Xfinity to me. Like I said, it goes back to they've got the better product until NASCAR decides, so we can't let that happen, and they shit on it.
Yeah.
So
and
it's going to happen.
When we see Austin Hill in the Cup Series next year, I'm just saying that now.
I think it changes.
It's not gonna. He's just gonna be another guy, Because to me, even with the last package where he did still get like the crazy runs, you could see a select group of guys stand out consistently as good racers at these kind of tracks. Think of a guy like Denny Hamlin. I mean, he was always in it. Even like Ryan Newman, Ryan Blaney. It always seemed like those 3 were kind of
Ryan was always
play.
there at the end, and then was always getting wrecked out coming to the line. So
yeah, those guys always seemed like they were in play. Even a guy like Chris Buescher, I felt like was always kind of in play. Never really had the car to do it in the Gen 6 era, but I always felt like he was in play. Ricky Stenhouse as well. So you could see it. Some guys maybe were better at it than others, but to me, of course, there is definitely an aspect of skill still in it. I just think it's a different type of skill now, and I think it's less impactful than what we've seen before and what we see in the Xfinity Series now. Austin Hill with a big win. Thought it was an overall really good race. We got to see Natalie Decker lead some laps. That was an experience. Good for her, though. That's pretty cool. Not often you see a woman lead laps, so it's a milestone, I guess. Let's talk about the truck race. They decided to wreck on like lap 4.
Well, to be honest, all 3 series did, so you can't hold that against them now.
That's very true.
The average lap was probably 6 or 7 for between all 3.
Yeah.
And if you want to throw in ARCA, it probably got lower. So,
oh my goodness, ARCA needs
to
its
me,
own.
you cannot hold that against even ARCA or trucks because Cup and Xfinity did the same damn thing.
ARCA by itself, ARCA's on a whole nother thing. They're the Walmart brand of
ARCA
but
is so fucking gangster,
y'all have not
dude.
been watching ARCA
It's
as long
so
as I
gangster.
have. ARCA has always been garbage at plate racing at Talladega and Daytona since the early 2000s. It's always been a fucking caution fest. So that to me has not changed, and it's never going to change unless they take them off the track.
Yeah, I mean, it's been bad since like the Frank Kimmel days. All right, that's the guy I remember running ARCA when I was growing up and watching.
And there was another guy called something. He drove the 5 car a lot. He used to win them because he would just always be in front of the bullshit. So that's nothing new. And to be honest, neither are the trucks. I'm getting it's going back to the fan base and the people that are on Twitter that cover this sport because they've gotten their following that way, shitting on the truck series 10 laps into a race because to me the truck race at Daytona has been this way too. It's not different. The only thing that made it different it was because of the Phoenix race was such a shit show on the second half, it kind of lowered expectations for the Daytona race, and it was met. Everybody lowered their expectations for it, and it was met. To me, truck race at Daytona has been that way for years. If you go back and watch every one of them for the last 10, 15 years, they've had big ones early because these trucks handle like fucking shit at Daytona. And I don't know what it is this year, but all series to me look like they handle like shit this weekend. They're way too jerky and too loose going down the straightaway on the backstretch, even with the littlest push. And that comes down to you've got new drivers in ARCA and new drivers in trucks. And what does NASCAR do? They give you no practice. How are you supposed to be fucking good at this if you're not given no track time in a something that you're brand new in? Truck Series is going to have new drivers in it every fucking year, except for your lifetimers, Matt Crafton. So I
wish he was gone.
Time. And how many years have we bitched about it? How many years have media bitched about it that covered the sport, and the drivers themselves from ARCA to Cup bitched about having no practice at these tracks? And NASCAR is fucking Stevie Wonder. They're looking up into the fucking clouds like they can't see a fucking thing. So to me, they need to open their fucking eyes, because it's not looking good on NASCAR's part, and it's not the drivers anymore. It's NASCAR to me. NASCAR needs to do something, and the way they can do something is to give them more time on the track to figure their shit out. You can't just fucking throw them out there. Hey, qualify one lap and then we're racing. You can't do that. That's not right, not fair for new drivers or even the veterans. So this practice shit needs to be fixed next year at plate races. I don't give a fuck that the owners are saving money. If you're in this sport, you got to spend money. If you don't like it, sell your shit and go to the fucking house like Chip Ganassi did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be some form of practice, especially. It is mind-boggling how in the Cup Series for this year, you have the Fords, which are a complete new body. And you didn't get any.
Toyota's new body.
Yeah, Toyota's too. You literally ran the Clash, which is always a clusterfuck of just, I'm going to bump you out of the way.
You can't tell anything from that.
And then you literally just have Daytona. You have the duels where it's just going to be drafting, and then you have qualifying, and then, here's the race. Like, what time do you have to figure out what your new body does with either the same new body from somebody else
or pushing somebody else?
Yeah, like somebody else's Toyota. How does their Toyota match up with you? Or like, say you're a Toyota and you get behind a Ford, which is going to happen at some point in time. How does your push match up with the back of their car and vice versa?
The excuse is from NASCAR side and owner side, we've got the simulators for that. No, I don't care what you
there's nothing
call them.
Like physically being in the car.
That helps you set the damn thing up. That don't help you figure out how it's going to drive, especially when you're dealing with a new body. I don't care how tech shit you got. This ain't fucking racing. Get your ass on the fucking track and practice. This ain't shit like it was back in Dale Jr.'s heyday. We need practice, damn it.
Yeah. Sally, your thoughts on the truck race?
It was awesome, dude.
We had a lot of fun.
We were back.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with our little watch parties. Maybe we'll stream one sometime. I feel like that could be cool.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
I want to get like something like Fox has that actually streams the race. We'll have to do it privately, like have like a private invite so we don't get took down.
Right.
And have our commentating or our party chat in the background for people to watch. So
yeah,
I kind of want to do that, but it's really expensive. I've looked that shit up. It's not cheap. So Killer, go buy you a new one and send me yours, bitch.
Because we have a lot of fun watching those races together. It's definitely a good
just
time.
trying to get synced up and stay synced up, because usually somebody ends up out of sync.
And then you've got Parsons coming in. Oh, guys,
don't even try.
Up. Wee woo.
Yeah, right. SVP called.
I didn't say they wrecked. Well, why else are you yelling?
Yeah, like that might have been one of the more classic Ryan expressions ever. We're all watching it, and you just hear this guy go, "Whoa!" and it's like 10 seconds.
And we're all going like this, waiting for it to happen.
Yeah. And he's just like, "Oh, I didn't say they wrecked. What other reason would you be going at a super speedway or at a NASCAR race in general?"
It was wild. Can we talk about SVG doing God's work, taking out Jeb Burton
Oh my
twice?
goodness, how that man didn't get like a
2
penalty
cautions
from
in a
NASCAR.
row.
Yeah. I guess NASCAR must have been Stevie wondering it, to quote Tegan,
Yeah.
because how you missed that was kind of crazy.
Can we talk about how NASCAR made SVG run the ARCA race just to get wrecked out on that 4?
Yeah.
Well, that was because so he could be approved for Xfinity.
That's
and they
just
still didn't approve him
so
till the
mean.
morning.
That's just so mean, though. You're making the guy go through ARCA. Like, this is like a superstar international driver we're adding to the series. So let's
He
fucking
kicked your
subject
Cup
him to
Series driver's
ARCA.
ass.
Well, see, the thing is, this is why we need practice. Xfinity
Yeah.
should have had practice. He could have went out there and got approved then. So
Yeah.
it goes back to doing shit like that. But they've
I'll give it to
done
him.
that for
He
years.
did great in the Xfinity race.
And were they ever not going to approve him? Like,
I think they just wanted to like let the tension because they didn't approve him till that morning of the Xfinity race. What was
yeah, but
supposed to
they
be?
knew he was getting
Xfinity.
approved the whole time.
Yeah,
Nobody
but
was
that's-
thinking
that's
that
what
he
gotta
was
make it
going
look
to.
official.
NASCAR was because what's Justin Marks going to do? He wants his guy to get experience. He'll pay whatever he fucking needs to.
How's he supposed to get experience if he's not allowed to? It's kind of like the thing we let guys run cup races all the time, but then Jennifer Jo Cobb wants to, and it's a problem. Which, granted, she's awful, but
I think that was the right call.
it might have been. Yeah,
And Justin Marks and Pitbull made a small ARCA team very, very happy over this weekend.
yeah. SVG originally did not qualify for the ARCA race, and then some car mysteriously withdrew. Yeah,
They're gonna come back next week with 4 sets of tires ready to go.
yeah, right.
Their tire bill's
2
paid for the
seconds
rest of the
faster.
year.
A new
2
body.
seconds faster
New
than the
body.
field.
You're
Yeah,
They've
gonna see,
upgraded
you're
from
gonna
the
see,
Fusion to the Mustang.
Yeah,
We'll see a Pontiac
Yeah.
out there.
I loved hearing like Maddie and Wessel's reaction because I think that was the first time either of them have seen ARCA reacting to all the different bodies because it's just so ghetto. Like you have SS's, Camaros, Camrys, Mustangs, Fusions. I mean, there were Dodges in it for a while.
I like that.
they were.
though.
They
That's
must
good
get like,
cycling.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
kind of convinced like they were, like Tegan just said. That's what I was gonna say. I'm convinced they like recycle cars that have been used.
Like
in,
ARCA was really
ARCA
excited
race.
when NASCAR decided to change the bodies in Cup because they're like, hot damn, bring them down here.
Well, yeah, right.
And that's
We got
exactly what they
something.
did. Yeah.
That just doesn't go for bodies. I saw Brad Perez, the truck driver or part-time truck driver, tweeted out a photo. I guess he was doing like crew for one of the ARCAs. He's like, I love the ARCA garage because it's just a bunch of cup stuff being reused. And someone was using a Denny Hamlin car cover from like his early
Hand me
Cup
downs.
days.
Yeah, it was like a black FedEx one, so it's like pretty early, and it looked like his scheme from like the early like years, like 06, 07-ish. So yeah. Anything else want to talk about from Trucks ARCA? I didn't even talk about the winner. Nick Sanchez. Happy to see him win. Better than Matt Crafton.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Good to see him
Sanchez's
win it.
first career win, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, always a good.
I think
moment
he's
to get
kind of
that.
in for a breakout.
Did any of these
honestly.
races end on the green, by the way?
All ended under
Xfinity?
caution.
Xfinity technically ended on
Because they let it
under
go.
green. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, did ARCA? I was so tired
I
at the end
can't
of that
remember.
race.
I
I was
Yes.
falling asleep.
Like,
at
as soon
the
as
end of
that
the
flag
ARCA race.
flew, everybody
I
was just,
we
all
got
you hear
off.
was bing, 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 bing. And I'm in
Yeah.
there going, I can stay up for another couple hours. What's wrong with these fuckers? Let's rock them up again.
could have stayed up
Yeah,
for another.
right.
I could have stayed up. I probably did playing freaking retro college football, which
I
is
stayed
a
up a little bit.
man.
Man,
banger
that
of a
thing is
game that is really addicting on a completely different
Oh,
subject.
It's bad.
But yeah, I was probably up. I just couldn't do it anymore. You'd get like 4 laps and a caution if you're lucky. But yeah, shout out to Nick Sanchez. He was really fast last year and really good at qualifying. So if he can turn that into being competitive during the race as well, he could definitely have a breakout year. And it looked like he found something there at Daytona. So definitely interesting to see what he's got this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, we're being joined by our guy Kevron.
Hey,
How's it going, big dog?
hey,
Look at me.
how are y'all?
Look at this. You look like a baller right now, dude.
dude. Sorry, I missed
I
out on a lot of y'all show. Sorry, continue what you're talking about. Don't mind me.
No, we're kind of wrapping up truck talk. give me a recap on your thoughts on all three series. Go Cup, Xfinity, Truck. Tell me what you thought.
Cup, Xfinity, Truck. I thought it was pretty great show all across the board.
I agree, actually. So I think we shit on trucks too much. So
yeah. I mean, obviously the Xfinity cars put on a great show last year. Didn't see nothing different at Daytona. Still put on a great show. Cup cars put on a great show. Trucks put on a great show. I can't say nothing less about it.
Yeah. Your thoughts on the winners? William Byron, Austin Hill, Nick Sanchez.
do you think Bowman got robbed? Are you one of the, are you my bonehead?
We're not going to be the bonehead.
Okay.
Okay. There we go.
Bradley, I know you were going to say otherwise, but my man, look, we saw a couple of things after the, they went off air and stuff. Instagram stuff showed. Pictures don't lie, man. So
Yeah.
Go Byron.
Could you imagine that happened in like the pre-social media era? Oh
Oh
man.
my goodness.
Dude, we would still be talking about
That's what I'm saying. This is what's wrong with this NASCAR. It's just NASCAR fan base, I think. I don't ever hear, and y'all would
it's
know
not
this before
just-
me. Is it all sports?
Yeah, I think it's everybody in general.
Like
just
backseat referee?
I think you go
Yeah.
outside of sports, it's always someone or certain
A
groups
group
of people
or
wanting
a fan
something
base.
to complain about. Yeah, everybody.
Yes.
I think it's just the way today's day and age is with all the social media and everything like that, and you have all the younger people going onto social media. I feel like everybody just wants
And
to
you know
be heard.
NASCAR's sitting there. It's like somebody said, I'm not going to mention his name. Why didn't NASCAR get this out sooner? Why didn't Fox do a better job? Well, Fox was not scheduled to be showing this race at 8 to 9 o'clock at night. They were switching channels to show the Xfinity race, so they're getting off because it's right at the hour. The change of the hour. Plus, NASCAR don't give two shits what the fucking 5,000 Twitter fans fucking are bitching about. They're worried about checking the drivers that are in the wreck. They're also trying to figure out where Al Belts is finished, and they're also celebrating their biggest race. They're having to send their people down there to victory lane because that's the part of the deal every week, just not for the 500. They're not going to be like, hold up, everybody, let's not go nowhere. We got to get on Twitter and show the fucking finish because if we don't, Twitter's going to shut down and Elon Musk will have our ass. No, it does not happen that way.
And then they
Get
got to
over
already
it.
start another race.
Yeah.
Exactly. NASCAR was getting ready. They're getting the cars off the track so they can put cars on pit road. So
Yeah.
they ain't
And
got
then I
time
think-
for y'all's fucking little crybaby bag bullshit. Get the fuck over it. And NASCAR is not out to fucking rob somebody every fucking week. We need to go back to accusing teams of cheating, not NASCAR.
Yeah, right.
The good old days. My day, when my dad used to say that fucking Hendrick, when they'd be a debris caution, he'd be like, "Oh, there's Rick Hendrick's checkbook on the racetrack." That's the good old days, not fucking accusing NASCAR of rigging the whole fucking race finish. So it's just I gotta get off Twitter after the races.
Yeah.
I need to stay off of it.
Yeah, I think it's just a societal problem in general.
Mhm.
Because we complain about like in
Keyboard
baseball,
warriors,
in baseball, people complain about umpires, but not everybody in the
football
past
referees.
had access to being able to see that's a bad strike call and then typing it out for the world to see. That never happened before.
the umpires in baseball don't actually see the box that they're showing on
And
TV
now-
to see whether or
and
not
now
it's a strike.
There's an
or ball.
account every game that it's very accurate that puts
Yeah,
out
that's-
umpire scorecards and rates the job they did. In 10 years ago, we would have never known that.
Okay,
Of
so
course-
shit like that's fine, but
Yeah.
don't start a big bitch fest over it. Fucking just show it. I'm a stat guy. Fucking show it. Have your
Right,
fun. And shut the
But
fuck
then
up.
that leads to I don't mind it.
Other
I like
people,
it
yeah.
because it shows who's good at their job, But like it's just everybody complains about it, and now everybody, NFL fans think we're in like an officiating epidemic, which to me is not true. Like there have always been bad calls. That's never been not.
I mean,
a part of the
NASCAR has
game.
made a few in their years and have
no
admitted to it.
doubt.
But you can't
And-
do nothing after the fact. But now I do believe if NASCAR had originally made a bad decision on the call of the race, oh wait, we misjudged, I think it would have been fixed. They literally done it in a truck race years ago. They literally pulled the fucking truck out of victory lane and put the right one in. And it was Bobby Hamilton, who, by the way, died the next year. So they don't care.
Yeah, right.
it's been done. It's not like they're going, oh, they knew they fucked up and now they're trying to hide it. No, they had fucked up before and have fixed it. So, don't worry. I know we give NASCAR shit, and there is shit that they do that are just fucking flat out stupid along with this car, but officiating, I think we've got really good officiating compared to other sports, because I think NASCAR goes out of their way to make sure they have the right tools to make sure it's fucking right at the end of the day.
Agreed.
Comment from Bradley here. Once the photo came out, I accepted the fact Byron won it. Just sucks because Bowman was so
He should have
close.
sidetracked his ass instead of just riding up on the high line. He should have fucking wrecked him. I mean, damn. He done wrecked him once and caused a big one. Why not again?
Right. Yeah, it's so tough because as I said, I was in the same boat in 2021 with Chase, because you see him peek ahead at one point if you look at the finish with McDowell, but that's after the yellow came out. So it's just unfortunate, especially considering it's the biggest race of the year. And how huge would that have been for Bowman?
Oh, for sure.
Like, I don't think that's talked about enough. And I think as fans, while they are very mad about how that went last night, I think they're all probably cooled down now, some of them at least. They got to appreciate that. Their guy had a awful year last year.
Oh,
and to see him make some of the moves he made and end up second, that's a really good run.
Let's
for
not
that
get
team.
too excited, though. I mean, it's a good run, but, and Atlanta's not going to tell much either because it's another drafting track, which is also stupid having two back-to-back like that.
I was going to talk about that, yeah.
But let's see what he does. I'm curious what him and Chase Elliott both do. In another year, back full-time, Alex Bowman's stepping back from running so many sprint car races to concentrate on running Cup.
Yeah.
So I'm curious on what that's going to do. I don't think Chase Elliott has very high hopes. I think he has hopes or expectations to be better than what he was last year. But from what I got in his interviews, he's telling people, don't get your hopes up too high. It's not going to happen. We're not going to come out here and be winning races, right off the bat. So it may take a while into the season to see what Bowman and Chase both are at, competition against their other two teamates.
Yeah,
I think you and I interpreted Chase's point a little differently. In the interview with Tom Rinaldi, he said something along the lines of like, what are your expectations? And he said, I don't think we'll go out there and win 10 races, right? And that's a fair thing. It's very hard to go out and win 10 races. That's a feat that not many drivers can do.
Not in this car. Not since this new car came out.
Especially this car. Yeah, it's a great point. But he said that he wants to be a part of the group of drivers that are in the group of, if they win, nobody's surprised.
They're not surprised, yeah.
Which to me, if Chase Elliott, I'm a fan of him, but if Chase Elliott wins, I don't feel like I'm surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you guys feel as non-fans.
I think you would be if Bowman wins.
Yes.
A little bit
for
more
sure.
Than Chase Elliott.
I feel like Chase might think that's a thing because it's been a little while since he's been in victory lane. And I think he fears that, hey, if I don't get a win till like the end of the season, people are going to be like, whoa.
There's going to be a lot of talk.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of talk. But I would honestly rather have
if it takes to the end of the season, he needs to get rid of his crew chief. I'm just going to say it now.
Yeah, I think he should have already gotten rid of Gustafson
yes.
forever ago. But that's
he has his moments,
I'm not even a Chase
very
fan.
far in between.
Yeah, I'm not even a Chase fan, and I can see how much he gets screwed by his pit crew.
It's a love-hate for me.
Crew chief, yeah. But I would rather have my driver, because NASCAR is such a long season. I'd have him like start off good. I think obviously you're going to want your guy to dominate the whole entire season, but that's going to be so rare. And regardless of the sport, and as fans, everybody just wants their team to be the best 24/7. And I think the best quote I've heard for a while now is the season's a marathon, not a sprint. So you want to start off good, like kind of tread water there in the middle, and then end the year really good. Like Blaney last year was nowhere near the best driver for the whole entire season. You could argue in the regular season there wasn't even a point where he was the best driver.
I'd say early on he was really good, and then he went on a stretch where he was not heard from whatsoever.
Yeah, and then kind of towards the end of the season he was a little bit good, and then in the playoffs he just his big thing is reaching the round of 8, because that I want to say every track in the round of 8, and then especially the end, he's always really good. He's always been really good.
Right.
It's just never getting him to the round of 8. But I feel like as a driver in general, I'd primarily try to click the best in the middle towards the back half of the season and just get a lot of momentum going into the playoffs, because it's going to be hard to dominate a track or a whole entire race season on rather.
Yeah.
Well, and add to your point, Matt, the most important thing is to get to that 36th race, Final Four.
Yeah.
All races beforehand doesn't matter. As long as you got your car dialed into Phoenix and you're in the Final Four, that's all that matters.
Yeah. It's tough, you know, and honestly, like, I hate to say it, I know Blaney's the champion, but I kind of put him in the group where you're kind of a little surprised if he wins sometimes. You know?
I think it depends
He's very
on
hit
the
and
race.
miss.
I think it
Yeah,
depends on the
for
race
sure.
track for sure. I mean, at the track they're at. Yeah. Because I feel like, to what you're
I
saying,
mean, the
feel
dude
like,
literally didn't win Phoenix and still won the championship.
Right.
So he
Yeah.
didn't have to. I mean, that shows you something right there that because Ross Chastain made sure everybody fucking knew it, that he did something nobody else did. Cross-eyed bitch. But that shows you right there that Blaney is a hit and miss, because he won the championship without winning the race and literally was racing his guts out with Kyle Larson at the same time to do it. So
Yeah.
I think that was a very Ryan Blaney way of winning the
Right.
championship.
Yeah, for
Like, it was
sure.
only
Yeah.
right he'd be the first one to do that.
Yeah.
And being a Blaney fan, it is nuts. Another thing that gets me, which I'll go on in a little bit here, is the whole backing into a win. That just drives me nuts when people refer to it as that. Like, I feel
It
like
don't with me with Blaney, but I do feel like it's true with Byron. I'm just gonna
More
tell
than
you.
Bowman. I know, you know.
Yes,
I-
more
I
than
feel like-
Bowman.
yeah, I feel like being up towards the front with like 5 laps to go has to say something. Like, you have to do something right in order to be in that spot towards the end of the race. Like, there's no backing into it. Now, granted, like,
Now,
when Hamlin,
I don't know a race that where Blaney has backed into one. Even with plate racing, he's good at plate racing. So
I'll say it as a Blaney
Roval.
fan.
Very
If you look,
okay, but that wasn't backing into one. Two fucking idiots took each other out. So
But I will
Jimmy
say-
Johnson took them both out. But
Yeah.
it is crazy that Blaney, like, the way he wins races, if he's leading a handful of laps for
Right.
whatever reason, he just does nothing towards the end of the race. The races he wins, statistically even, are like races he only leads like 10 or fewer laps, I feel like,
Yeah.
are the races where he wins. But like I said, it's something to put yourself in that spot to be able to win the race. But it is crazy how stuff like
I mean,
that
look
works
how many
with some
times
drivers.
Harvick did it. Like when Harvick did it, he didn't back into him. He
They
was
call him the closer.
Yeah, he was last lap
That's
Harvick. So
That's what people should have called Bowman, because to give Bowman some credit, you know, they call Harvick the closer when Junior runs out of fuel. Why aren't they calling Bowman the closer when Larson blows a tire? What's the difference? You know,
Yeah, like there was that
Bowman
year where it was just
led
going
100
back.
laps at Dover. Bowman ran the fastest laps at Richmond for most of the race. Where else did he win that year? Martinsville. He wrecked Denny Hamlin. Everybody likes that, right? You know, so like, I'm tired of that narrative. Backing into wins, I think, is a bad phrase, even though, you know, it's an easy thing to say. But you can argue Byron kind of did last year. But at the same time, you got to be in the right spot to win the
Take
races at
advantage.
the end. And
It's
Byron,
great.
Bowman, and Blaney are 3 examples of that for sure.
It's racing. You don't know what's going to happen. That I agree with Matt. I hate when people say they backed in to wins, and especially with the championship format now. I hate them saying, "Oh, well, it's a Mickey championship." Like, that driver executed the best in the 10 races, or in the 9 races, to position himself to be there for the last race, which is all you need to do in this format. So
And it's not
which
like
kind of
there's
blows.
It's not like there's a confusion about the rules either.
No.
Every driver and every team knows what the rules are.
That goes back to the fan base. They're going to bitch regardless who the fucking 4 is. It could be somebody that's won 10 races, makes it to the final 4, and wins it, and they're like, well, that's Mickey Mouse bullshit. Well, technically, he won the most races. Why not? It's like Harvick 2014. I feel like 2014 was the last year where I think the fan base agreed, oh, yeah, Harvick should have won it, even though he literally about not been in contention for it because of Phoenix. He had to win it. because that car was so dominant that year and gave away so many wins. But I seem like ever since then, though, this playoff format has been getting shit piled on every year, and now it's one big stink pile. I don't know if NASCAR needs to look at it. I don't want them to jump in the trigger just because people and drivers are bitching about it now, like Denny Hamlin, which I agree. It's getting to where, so Harvick said it a couple years ago after he won his championship, of course. Now I feel like I care more about wins. Like I just want to win races more than I want another championship. To me, that's what matters. And I think that's what's showing now I think that's why people are racing like shit or racing people like shit is because now they just want to rack up on their wins because you don't know if you're going to get that championship because it is kind of luck. I mean, Denny Hamlin literally was out of it because of breaking the fucking toe link at Homestead. That's the only thing that kept him out of it. And in Martinsville too, not having a good, finishing, a couple of positions higher. So people know that now, and now they're just going after the wins. That's to me, can get you in the Hall of Fame before a championship does. Denny Hamlin is a Hall of Fame driver without his championship. Without owning his team, I still think he is a Hall of Famer. But I don't know if it's first ballot, but second ballot maybe.
How many wins does he have? 60? 50?
No, Harvick does. He's got 50. So he's got 10 wins, and then he can catch up to Harvick. And Kyle Busch,
wins.
who right now,
care.
Denny Hamlin's outpacing Kyle Busch when it comes to speed and winning races now, especially now that Kyle Busch is moved to RCR.
Harris just says he has 51 wins. To me, that's a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Oh, for sure.
Doubt.
I don't think there's any question that Denny Hamlin
if he gets voted. I mean, look, Johnson didn't get a perfect ballot, so that should tell you something. It may not be first ballot.
Yeah.
No, but first ballot would mean, making it on your first time. And to me, 51 wins, if he retires today, 51 wins, 3 Daytona 500s, a Coke 600, multiple
Mark
Southern
Martin's
500s,
with 49 wins. So
yeah,
or 40
exactly, and less crown jewels. So to me, it's not really a debate.
And Denny Hamlin has a chance to fix that this year, and maybe for a while, because I'm thinking the Indy Road Course has run its course. I don't want to alternate or nothing like that.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that.
I think you need to put Xfinity on it, maybe. Let Xfinity run on it on a different weekend because you can't change the layout on the same weekend. So when we go to Indy for the Brickyard, the Xfinity and trucks need to be running at IRP, whatever it is called now, because to me it's IRP. But Denny Hamlin has a chance to fix that this year, and I'm kind of hoping he does. I'm here for it.
And I if Denny Hamlin wins the championship, I'm happy with it. He's a guy that, if you look at his body of work, deserves the championship.
They'll just call it Mickey Mouse. They'll call him the Mickey of the Mickeys.
Yeah.
So
the crazy thing about Denny, though, is people won't like me saying this, that won't think he deserves to be a champion, which I do. If you look at the classic point system, he still hasn't won one.
Yeah.
So that's the guys that benefit from that are not Denny Hamlin. It's Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick.
Yeah. And the one that really gets fucked is Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, which your little point about 2014, I disagree with, but that's besides the point.
Well, Jeff Gordon was there too, but like I said, look how many races Harvick gave away because the car broke at the beginning of the year because it was a new team.
But to me, you got to think about Jeff though. There, like, even if he finishes like 5th at Texas, he's in, and that Fatso Newman.
But see, we don't know what would happen because he didn't make the right pit call at Homestead. He stayed out. I think
he did that. I think he did that to just get out of the way. I think he pitted at the end just to get out of the way and let
But
the
thing is, though,
forward.
he would have been stuck with old tires because he didn't pit when Harvick did and get the freshies, and Newman would too. So he would have been fucked if he had not pitted.
Well, then we'd have.
I don't think that would have changed.
We'd be having a discussion about Alan Gustafson right now. Okay,
It was
a different discussion. Well, listen, as a Jeff Gordon to Chase Elliott fan, I have dealt with Alan Gustafson for this is the 14th
Didn't
season
some Dale Jr.
now.
fans have to deal with him for a while too?
No, he was the 5 car. He was it was Lance McGrew, who was very, very infamous Dale Jr. crew chief. He was their 5 car until 2010, and then 2011 on was with the 24, which then became the 9. Still the same crew basically as it was when it was Jeff Gordon, just changed the number. So yeah, I think it's time. Maybe we go into picks. Are we ready for picks, everybody?
Hey, perfect time.
Yeah, you just came back for the picks. Here we go. All right. So I did a little new highlighting system this year. The darkest green denotes the main winner, which gets 3 points. The more lime green denotes the person that gets 2, and the yellow determines the person that finishes third and gets 1 point. Bradley will be picking first for this race,
Fucking
and
Bradley.
he
You
will
won the
take
race. What a
Brad
squad. Oh, no, never mind.
Keselowski.
He didn't win this one.
No, he didn't. He will take Brad Keselowski. Next up is, let me look at the results here. I believe Wessel with McDowell. I don't know if I've gotten his pick yet. I'm going to text him for his pick real quick. And okay, there we go.
With the Z.
Just texted him. So let's stall real quick. Matty, Eric Jones picking up the win for you.
Yeah,
definitely not a great winner, but
cluster
Finishing 9th.
of everything like that. Yeah. Finishing 9th. You're not going to get too many winners on this board, I feel like, this season. racing 9th. I wouldn't consider it a throwaway because I feel like Eric Jones is best on these type of drafting tracks, but definitely someone who I wouldn't use outside of like Daytona, Atlanta, Talladega. So
Or Darlington.
yeah, that too.
yeah,
So-
I haven't zeroed in for a Darlington race for sure.
Always
Wessel will pick
good.
Corey LaJoy.
Oh, that motherfucker.
Ooh,
It's a good
It's
pick.
going to be my good / throwaway.
Yeah.
that is a good pick.
Next up is, let me look here. Results. It's close between a few of these guys because they were all involved in the same wreck. Next up will be Sally. Tell me your pick, Salvador.
Carson Hocevar.
Okay.
I thought it was too early to even get rid of him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick for sure. I don't necessarily agree with it. Kev Ryan. So you're the representative for your team this week, Mr. Kevron.
Yeah.
Ryan told me he likes Corey LaJoy. He's gone. So Kevron, tell me what you like here.
Well, I love how the Chevrolets band together. So it's definitely going to be picked from the Chevy camp. Parsons, don't be mad at me. When I pick this dude, I'm going to go ahead and throw him out and say Kyle Busch.
Kyle
Yeah,
Busch.
Kyle Busch is getting off the board quick for us there.
Yeah,
First 2 weeks.
I'm not using him just yet.
To be honest, though, I mean, he could have won that race. That would have been a good pick for me.
He was close.
He was fast.
Yeah, to me, I feel like some of these guys, you only get one use of these guys in the regular season. I feel like some people have taken off some heavy hitters pretty early at tracks where I personally would lean to using throwaways at. But then again, we all have different strategies. And JB is kind of in the same boat as Kev Ryan, using some heavy hitters early on. His pick is William Byron.
Jeez Louise.
Lonnie does strike twice with that cocksucker, so.
I mean, if you in this format, if you get the win with the guy actually winning the race, if you say
You get 5
hypothetically
points.
you hit like 3 out of the next 4, 2 out of the maybe even 3 out of the next 6, you could be.
You're set. You can coast.
Great
Yeah, you
shape.
could be way ahead. So I kind of get going for the heavy hitters.
So, oh man, I was originally going to pick Justin Haley, but I'm having an internal debate now between him and Austin Cindric.
I'm telling you, just because Atlanta's a drafting track, it is not the same.
Yeah.
Who's good at Daytona and Talladega to me can really shit at Atlanta. It is a different beast.
I'm not going to waste a Penske car here. I'm going to go Justin Haley.
That's who I was going to take too. Damn it, the hell. Who's in the other Rick Ware card this weekend?
Or
is it even in?
Let me see if the entry list is out. believe it is out. I've got it here. It is Kaz Grala.
That's who I'm taking.
Okay.
Throwaway. I got my 2 points. I'm good for another week.
Maddie, what you got?
Let me think.
Thought you had a pick lined up earlier.
I do. So I've got two. But now I don't know
Talk me through it.
if I should try to go for the win or just go for points. Well, that's the thing. Well, forget the whole win thing. That's the thing. It's like people have used Byron and Bush, and someone's using Brad K. So it's like I want to go for third, and I have Daniel Suarez on the mind. He's been last year's race in July was rain shortened, but the other 2 races here he was good. And I'm also thinking Austin Cindric, not just because he's good at Daytona and Talladega, but the last 3 races, I think he's finished like 12th, 11th, and somewhere in the top 10.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to use Cindric here, though, because I could definitely use Cindric at either Talladega or the other Daytona race. No, I said I was going to use Suarez earlier today. I'll go with Suarez again. I'll use him here.
Okay. I like
Another
that.
heavy hitter going, really, when you think about
Is it
road
heavy?
courses.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Road courses.
Personally, if I'd use Suarez at any other track, at another
So we've
track,
got 7 road courses this year again. No, we lost one.
Yeah.
So like I think how many times does SVG get picked? Between all of us.
Yeah, I don't know.
Road
He's not
courses.
running all of them technically, so I don't know.
yeah, but you figure you used to use him.
He's getting used everyone he
obviously-
runs in.
Yeah, obviously
Probably.
Chase will probably get used. Kyle Larson.
McDowell.
I feel like you gotta use Larson at a 1.5 miles, not a road course.
Yeah, that could be somewhere where you use AJ. Where
Yep.
you
The thing
use
about Kyle
for
Larson
sure.
though, you don't know where he can hit.
yeah.
Kinda
Could you-
tell.
You could use Cindric for a road course if you wanted kind of like trying to get the third place.
Yeah.
Cindric ain't that good.
You could use Ty Gibbs.
Xfinity, Cindric is great. In Cup, no.
Yeah, you
That
could
is
use,
too many heavy
great
hitters.
call, Maddie.
you
I
could
like
use
that
Ty
a lot.
Gibbs. So there's probably like 7 or 8 dudes where you could legitimately
Dudes.
get them
Big
with a
dude guy.
shoulder.
Maddie's a dude, a big dude guy. Yeah, Tegan mentioned it earlier, and it's definitely a topic I'd like to talk about before we get out of here. Scheduling, not a fan for me of going Daytona than Atlanta. We'll go
Plus,
through everybody's
it's still
thoughts
cold
on
down
this.
here. It's not that
Yeah.
fucking warm.
Yeah.
We had this problem years ago when they always made Atlanta the second race. The people would be down there in their fucking parkas, and they're doing it again. I don't understand. And then they give them 2 races, so I don't understand why they can't move the second race Atlanta out a little bit so that they can move the first one out too. It's so stupid that we're running back to back fucking drafting track racetracks. It makes no sense. It's like somebody on Twitter said today, you had a really good race for the first time in years since this new gen car at Daytona, and then you're wanting to see if lightning strikes again 2 weeks in a row when it probably is not gonna.
Yeah.
Because this track ain't gonna be hot, so they're not gonna be all over the place lifting. They're gonna be full throttle, sticking to the line, and that's all it's gonna fucking be. It's not gonna be a good race.
Well, the old schedule, I thought it was perfect because of how it was set up at the West Coast, even in the winter.
But we lost the West Coast race, so NASCAR thought they had to change it. I guess.
I don't understand why you can't sub
Sonoma
in
should
Sonoma.
be put in. Yes, I want to see Sonoma with green grass. Damn it, not burnt grass. I want to see green grass at Sonoma. I think that would be awesome. It would probably bring fans to it because it's not in the summertime when it's really fucking hot. It's not cold either, so I don't know. NASCAR is so, and I know last year we had a late schedule announcement because they were trying to work shit. There were racetracks that they were wanting to put in the Cup that just could not make it work. I still feel like Sonoma. I don't know who owns it, if it's NASCAR or not, but they could have made it the second race or as part of the West Coast swing, replacing the Auto Club. And I think they would have had a good fucking turnout, and that way they could have pushed Atlanta out.
Go to Phoenix.
Yeah,
Go
Phoenix, then Vegas.
Sonoma, Las Vegas. To me, that
Or
makes
hell,
sense.
even Phoenix and Vegas and then Atlanta. Why do we have to have 2 back-to-back fucking plate races?
Yeah,
It's so stupid.
Wessel has in here Sonoma's SMI, who also owns Atlanta, which, so I mean, I
Marcus
don't
Smith
understand
is
why.
just like his daddy. He's a dumbass.
Yeah, I think we could afford to, put Atlanta a couple of weeks later than it is, just to spread it out a little bit. Maddie, Sally, Kevron, any thoughts on that scheduling?
What Tegan said, I think it's dog crap.
Yeah, it definitely is kind of goofy when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, having back-to-back drafting tracks. But yeah, I don't really have a solution for it.
And when they redo Texas, they'll make it the third race. So here we go.
There were 20 other variations of the schedule. I am pretty sure any other that had whatever they had the first two as was better than this. I mean, it's
no, in NASCAR they probably had Atlanta the second race in all fucking 20 of them. That's how fucking stupid they are.
Yeah,
I want someone to do some deep diving on the World Wide Web and see if they can find these variations.
They're in NASCAR is what we need to start leaking some shit out, saying this is what could have been, and it would have been better. So,
I guess it's going to be something. The variation of the other schedules isn't starting the year off at Daytona.
No.
Yeah.
I still think Daytona 500 has to be the first race. We don't need to be like every other sport where we end our biggest race at the end of the year. Because to me, then that is a Mickey Mouse race. That is where Mickey Mouse comes to play, is if you make Daytona the championship race. We're Atlanta. Any kind of drafting track, it's reason why we don't do it. It's going to be a shit show. It's going to be a wreck fest. They're going to wreck people in the first fucking 10 laps. And then you're going to have teammates playing a factor because NASCAR is letting them do it during the fucking Daytona race now when they're cycling out through these pit cycles and they're letting fucking cars bob and weave through fucking traffic to slow down lines. We're going to end up with another car on the catch fence before it's over. And then Twitter's going to have a fucking meltdown. It's going to literally crash and burn because all the damn fans are going to be on there bitching. Why did we let this happen? Well, you didn't say shit about it when it was happening years ago, starting this year. Austin Dillon had no business being out there doing what he did Monday night. Whoever he slowed up, it was the Fords. They should have got out, lined him up, and took turns blacking his fucking eyes is what they should have done, and put him in early retirement, going back to his fucking granddaddy stomping grapes is what they should have fucking done.
Yeah, wow, that was
I don't like
heavy. I can tell.
He's spoon fed. He's more spoon fed than Ty was. Ty was sucking hind tit when Ty was born. He didn't get none of the silver spoon because Austin Dillon had his big fucking pecker sucker on it. So
something with the Dillons, I guess. I
like Ty.
Well, I know why.
I still think Ty had the right opportunity. I think Ty's better than, or not Ty. Ty is better than Austin. I can't keep him straight. So that's just my opinion. I think the same opportunities Ty outdoes his brother Austin. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we get out of here? Anything we didn't discuss that you all would like to talk about?
I thought having Harvick in the booth
was
absolutely crazy. And that's something that I said that I was really looking forward to when we did our first podcast.
And didn't I say last year that I thought that he would calm Boyer down?
Yeah.
And I think he did.
It's a combination of calming Boyer down and then having a driver in the booth who's been in this kind of car is something that's completely going to be unmatched.
It adds an extra dynamic to commentary booth in all forms, and it brings such more information to the fans like us on what's really going on that the booth don't even know.
I think we saw that at the Clash when he started talking about the way that Ford were doing their brakes. Like that was probably a secret that he was releasing. I don't know. But then you can kind of still hear it during the Daytona 500. He's still nervous. He's not doing a lot, but even then he's still really damn good. And I think he's actually making Mike Joy better too. I don't think Mike Joy was good when they kept rotating people
flipping
out
around
with him and Boyer. So and people are still shitting on Boyer, but there's some people on Twitter where I've seen that actually think Boyer has calmed down a little bit with Harvick in there. Because I do feel like Boyer was overcompensating for drivers last year that were in the rotation because some of them didn't just come out and talk. He had to lead into it because Mike Joy is supposed to be calling the race. He ain't got time to lead a driver into, hey, what do you think? What happens with the car when it does this? Yeah. Harvick just steps in and does it. So Mike Joy, I think, is a lot better commentator than what he's last year. Because last year, toward the end of the Fox,
Bad.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Mike Joy needs to retire.
Yeah.
And he's still going to have his slips up because the man is in his 70s, probably almost pushing 80.
No,
There's going to be a time in the next
actually
season
late
or two.
60s, I think. But yeah.
It's just, the next season or two, he's going to call it quits. And
Yeah.
we're going to have a replacement. So, and I'm hoping I'm hoping to God
Is that
that
Mrs. Kevron?
This is Mrs. Kevron.
Hi, Mrs. Kevron.
Hi.
Hey.
But
Sorry.
yeah, I did think that Fox was fantastic during the race, and I thought Kevin Harvick did do a really good job. So yeah, we got romance here on the podcast. Sal and Sam were together before the show.
Live pouring, guys, for the first time on the CFRL YouTube channel. We're going to have to mark this for mature audiences only before we get to
Yeah,
it down,
right.
because of
Spencer,
Mickey
turn
Mouse
off
kid.
your stream.
This one, this one is not for the kids. But yeah, I thought Fox actually that was one of the best broadcasts they've had in recent years. Mike Joy, as you said, I think did a great job
From the start, lap 6 when the wreck happened, Mike Joy was in his form.
Yes.
Because I reckon there's people on Twitter, like, I guess, I don't know, had their shit blasting still. And Mike Joy had a scare jump on people. So
Yeah.
they made him shit himself.
Yeah.
He's like the junior of NBC. Crash!
Yeah. I thought it was really good. And Harvick definitely, I feel like gives, because Boyer to me tells me things that I already know. Oh, we've got baby Kevron.
Oh, I get work and the whole family's like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, right.
You're yelling.
But I thought that I lost my train of thought. But Clint Boyer kind of tells me stuff that I already know as a NASCAR fan, which there is some stuff for the casual fan that they might.
And
need
Boyer
to,
is still leading Harvick too. Like he's putting Harvick in position to explain something, so he knows he's doing his job too.
Yeah. I don't really like Boyer, to be honest. But
I do. I still like Boyer. Whether later on Boyer makes the decision, hey, I'll go do something on pit road. I'll be Rutledge Wood.
That's what
kind
I think.
Lost its flair too. But Boyer, I think, could add something back to it for Fox.
That's what
I think he could actually.
Best at.
I want to see Boyer out there actually get shit faced drunk with the fans on live TV. I think Boyer could get away with it.
Definitely.
That would be a movie.
That's what I think his role should be. Yeah.
Yeah, either.
But then if they do that, I think we need somebody in there. I want Larry Mack back in the booth. We don't need 2 drivers. If you're going to get rid of Boyer, you got to put somebody in there that's a crew chief. I don't care if it's even a crew chief for this gen car, because Steve Letarte has never crew chiefed this car either. So I think we will be 100% fine with Larry McReynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd roll
Which
that.
I think I should on this weekend.
I feel like what Quint's good at is good for being the third guy in the booth. Like I said, I feel like Harvick having someone I know I sound like a robot, but really having someone who's driven in this car be in that booth.
Well,
he's going to
always been good with words.
Like, and he's always going to.
He's bitching at you or giving NASCAR the fucking finger or telling you something about the car. He's usually pretty damn good at articulating his words.
Yeah, because this car is going to be different than the one Quint drove.
Yeah.
So Kevin's going to be the perfect person to say like, oh, this, and this is different. Like even when they were crashing and they were showing the replay of like Blaney and stuff like that.
Kudos to Fox for having those cameras, by the way.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I told Mike, I feel like Harvick told him, hey, you might want to put some headshots in these, and I'll show y'all what I'm talking about when I say they're hard hits. Because I think everybody just hears Harvick saying that shit, and they're like, it's Harvick. He's an old man. He can't take hits anymore. Bullshit. I bet you 90% of the drivers got out of those cars had bruises on them somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
The Ryan Blaney one looked like I genuinely thought that dude broke his wrist.
Yeah, that looked bad.
Yeah, the in-depth that Harvick went to saying like, oh, this is why this person does this. It's why this person does this when they crash. Like, oh, getting hit in the back of this car is actually worse than getting hit in the front. The dude even knew that
John Hunter Nemechek puts his thumb on the wheel and not around the wheel, which is where people get in trouble. Drivers get in trouble when their steering wheels, get knocked out of their hands and shit.
Yeah. That's really good insight. I thought, I really think he was fantastic. I thought Fox had one of their best races in a while. Seemed like they kind of heard the criticism of last year. Granted,
Less
the
commercials, by the
Xfinity-
way, I think too.
the Xfinity race I thought was pretty bad broadcast, to be honest.
Well, they had to scrap
They
that
had
shit
to pull,
together
they had to
last
pull a
second.
broadcast team together out of their ass. So,
And like they
Yeah.
literally said, Adam Alexander and Michael Waltrip, and then like 30 minutes before the race started, oh, we're gonna throw Andy Petrie in there, which was a fucking mistake because that dude is so fucking
He's garbage.
nepo that it's not even funny.
I'll tell you what, Austin Hill does a great job out there.
That 21 car's fast, man.
Look
I
at
put that
Austin
together
Hill.
myself.
Look at Austin Hill.
the part I
Like-
thought was really terrible by Andy last night was Michael was trying to. The
Oh,
race
yeah.
is over. Michael's trying to talk about Jordan Anderson, like, "Wow, great job for them, P3 and 4," and Andy's like, "Oh, that's our engineer up on that pit box.
There's
He builds
Jimbo.
these great cars."
There's Jimbo up there. He's our engineer.
He's plugging RC big time. That's another silver spoon sped bitch.
He had him up there dressed like a Life Church pastor. Wild.
I think that booth needs to be. I'm guessing it's going to be drivers again this year, but
probably, yeah.
maybe they need to take Waltrip out. Because
Brad,
Waltrip is goofier than Clint Boyer. Let's be honest. And if anybody says they're not, I will fight you. I will meet you somewhere
You didn't
and
like the
beat your
segment with
ass into the fucking
Lightning?
pavement.
Get a point. What were you saying, Sal?
You didn't like the segment with Lightning?
That was nice. But what
We
he
had the
said
big-
something so he said the biggie bag. Oh god.
Oh yes, yes,
35
we had
to
the
go.
biggie bag segment, which NASCAR. I don't know what Fox was doing, and I don't know why they were waiting to play that commercial going side by side with like 35 laps
Yeah.
to go. But I'm pretty sure that's the last thing the fans want is to know about the biggie bag from Wendy's.
Right. And watch
Like-
SVG and Daniel Suarez play mini golf against each other to win it.
Like,
Well, to be fair, they were probably expecting more cautions, and this Daytona 500 had less cautions since 2004.
that is
So they
true,
didn't get
too.
an opportunity to play it.
Right.
So there is
Yeah.
that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But to me that seemed like a spot they were gonna do side by side or under a caution while they were back on like it wasn't gonna
Yeah,
be
I feel like if it was, I feel like if it was something, if it was during a caution.
Welcome
and we were
back.
side
We're
by
still under
side-
caution here. Let's talk about a biggie bag. And
Yeah, I
let's
feel like
look
that
at
would be
Daniel
perfect.
Suarez in a bucket hat.
Well, see, Cup is so good, like you said earlier, during the other races of getting their shit cleaned up. When you got trucks and Xfinity over here are turning the lights back on every fucking 40
Oh,
feet
my
because they can't clean
goodness.
up the debris.
Oh.
Or
I forgot about that.
oh,
Yeah,
there's
when
a
they
car
had-
and fucking a tow truck is out there digging a hole in the fucking mud. We
Yeah.
can't go, guys. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I thought he was
Low
gone.
series cautions are so long.
especially the ARCA series. The ARCA series,
Ugh.
there was that one caution where there was like a 10 or 15 laps felt like went by, which was in reality it was probably only like 5 or 6.
That's
but still,
enough.
for 5 or 6 not to be red flagged, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well,
I mean,
they
at that-
red flag the Cup race when they had that late caution,
yeah,
but they
for
didn't do it for Xfinity. It makes no sense why we are not doing the same thing across the board.
I feel like they
flag
knew
out.
it was about 1 o'clock in the morning for the East
I don't
Coast,
give
and
a
they just
fuck.
said,
I
"Screw
don't
it."
give a shit. That's
Oh
when
yeah, I'm not saying
that's when Twitter needs to be on there. All right, you quit fixing the shit. Let's run it
Yeah.
like you normally do. Then I'd agree. We need to red flag it across all 3-4 series, counting ARCA, even though they're trash. Which the thing about ARCA though, see, is they're green. They don't have a green white checker. It's white checkered for ARCA. They only get
Right.
1/10, and it's 1 lap
Yeah.
when they do
I didn't
it.
even know
After
that.
caution
Well,
comes
they
out,
know
it's
what's
done.
gonna happen if
Yeah.
if,
ARCA's
you know.
ARCA, yes, but I still think you need a red flag. You do not need to be running your laps down. When you've got 10 laps to go and the caution comes out, stop that bitch on the back stretch like Cup did, and don't run your laps out.
no reason.
Yeah, definitely. This opinion is probably gonna be the last ARCA opinion we hear on the show for about a year.
Or Talladega.
Yeah, what Gus Dean did was so shitty. He told
After we
Finch-
found out about it, yes.
He told Finch, his teammate, I don't remember his first name, James Finch's son,
James.
who used to own Phoenix Racing. He told their teams communicated, their teammates, of course, for Venturini, who has a stranglehold over those races. Gus Dean's team and Gus Dean said, "Yeah, I'll do a teammate restart." And Finch said, all right, I'll take the outside. And then Gustine said, yeah, I couldn't just take
And
myself
admitted
into it. Yeah. To me, ooh, like that's
But they're not
such
both. Neither of them are running full time either. By the way,
that's
but if
so
I'm going
bad.
to Talladega in a race with him, I'm leaving his ass hanging every chance I get.
Because he wrecked their other teammate early on in the race, Tony Brightingham. He cut off and wrecked her. So, yeah, that was just not a good look for him.
He's another lifetimer in ARCA.
That's
okay. To be honest, I think that Finch kid may actually be something. So he may actually get to move up to Xfinity.
Yeah,
I think
eventually.
so. I think he'd be pretty good. All right. It's time to go. The soothing music of the end of a podcast. Let's turn it up a little bit.
I get it, man.
Hit it, Tegan.
What? Back.
Ready for it? Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.